Welcome back to the No Clue Podcast. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Mike.
And I'm Tyler. Welcome back. A lot has happened the last 2 weeks. We're going to start with football because it's about that time. The championships are coming up. Where do you want to start? The biggest disappointment of the season?
Yeah.
Okay. Cowboys, they did it again. Cowboys fans, I don't know how you guys do it every year.
I don't.
Every single year, it's like a.
How do
they try to top it.
How do they buy in with like such dedication?
I have no idea.
And
the Cowboys, they figure out a way to top it every year. Like, maybe it's not topping it, but I guess during the season they play better, so the excitement and anticipation gets higher, so the letdown is even more destructive, you know.
But this was like, it was the you're right, to your point, like this was their best season where they really looked like a contender.
It did.
I mean, like Dak was like third as far as MVP goes.
Yeah.
What's insane to me in the last couple years, you could really focus on how Mike McCarthy doesn't make good decisions in close games, or you could really focus on Dak making mistakes and like Dak is not good enough.
Yeah.
This was an utter collapse in every way.
It was.
I mean, you remember years ago when they first started selling to the Niners? I was like, you're watching these games against the Niners, and the Cowboys got all these stars, and yet the Niners are better at every position. And with the Niners, like looking back with the Niners, I can forgive that because the Niners are stacked.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at the youngest roster in like 50 years in the playoffs. And they have a better quarterback, first-year starter, better receivers. I don't even know who they are. Aaron Rodgers hated them, by the way. Better tight ends, better running back, better defense, and a better coach who succeeded the guy who's in Dallas.
Yep.
I mean, this was like, it was so embarrassing to watch because Dallas was getting, for lack of a better word, undressed in front of our eyes. Like,
yeah.
And I'm only saying undressed because I really want to highlight how exposed they were.
Yeah, big time.
I mean, like,
every single flaw.
Have you heard a soul that believes in Dak Prescott after that game?
Dan Orlovsky? Does he count?
I mean, yeah, because he's friends, but I'll take that.
Yeah. No, not really. I really haven't. And I've seen more criticism towards him than ever before. Like, I guess they're just really fed up. And rightfully so.
And it's
rightfully
nice
so.
that we got a chance to see them respond to their own failure. Because, like, Jerry Jones, you asked me, I think, the day after, maybe even that night, like, they got to fire Mike McCarthy, right? And it's like, how could you not? How could you not after that?
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry found a way. It's like...
You blame it on everybody else?
And this is like a Hall of Fame free agency for coaching.
Yeah, it is.
Where are you going to find a better group of coaches that are clearly available?
Yeah, all top notch.
Sticking with Mike McCarthy, like that made me want to cry.
This is probably the most like real winners available.
Yeah.
Like Vrabel is a winner, Belichick is a winner, Harbaugh is a winner. You know, those guys are
literally what Dallas is missing.
Yeah.
And we're sticking with Mike McCarthy. Oh. There's not even like, what is there to break down? Like the Cowboys are at this point, they may be going through something we haven't seen a franchise go through in our podcast lifetime. I would call it an existential crisis at this point.
Yeah, for a franchise that is one of the most historic franchises in all of sports.
Because now, now their own fan base looks at them as fraudulent.
Yeah.
That to me, and when you see the entire fan base give up, and you're like, you know what, guys, I trust this group.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Dallas Cowboy fans have given up on it.
Mm-hmm.
And like we led the segment with how incredibly and insanely loyal they are.
Yeah.
So this was tough to watch.
It was. And it seemed like every play the Packers made just showed another flaw in how the Cowboys are. And then as far as the chemistry of the Cowboys just slowly got dismantled throughout the game. Like you saw guys getting angry with each other, getting down with each other. You saw the confidence just sucked out of them throughout the game. And I don't mean confidence that they would win it. I just mean confidence in each other. Their confidence in Dak, confidence in the defense. Everything just was sucked out of the building in this game. Shout out to Jordan Love, though. He looked fantastic in that game.
Listen, the Packers look great, and they validated themselves because they competed toe-to-toe with the Niners, which I didn't expect. But again, like this was in Dallas where they had won 16 in a row.
Yeah.
Like nothing about the stats, or anything told us that the Cowboys would get embarrassed like this.
Right.
Man, I couldn't believe my eyes.
So let's go to the next round. 49ers beating the Packers was not a surprise. I think it was a surprise that it was close, but the Packers looked good, and the 49ers just, to me, haven't looked that great, in the last couple weeks of the season.
I mean, they got cooked by the team that's been cooking everybody.
Yeah.
And that stopped their momentum.
Yeah.
I also think the NFC is just not that good.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of allowed them to hide any kind of flaws they might have had.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But they're still in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah. And obviously deservingly so. What about the Bucks and Lions game? You had the Bucks in this one. I also had the Bucks. But why did we think the Bucks had a chance in this one?
I'm gonna be honest. I was hyped off of Baker's swagger in the first game, in the Eagles game, because he was talking crazy shit, and he was playing well, but like the team was feeding off of it. Normally, if Cleveland never fed off of it for some reason,
yeah.
But you saw like Tampa Bay as the game progressed got more confident, more excited, more arrogant. And I thought they'd ride that momentum coming into this game.
I did too. And, I got to give the Lions props because part of me throughout the entire season just felt like it was fluky. And maybe it's because I've seen Goff for long enough to know that he can do some fluky stuff. He can have these amazing stretch of games and then blow it like dramatically when it counts. Very similar to Dak in that way to me, but I think it was more of me not having that much confidence in the Lions than it was having confidence in Baker, even though I've been Team Baker all season. But the Lions did take care of business. Not much to say about the Ravens and Texans game, right?
No. I mean, the Ravens, halftime I was a little nervous, but third quarter they woke up. Yeah.
I think Harbaugh I don't think he gets enough credit for his halftime adjustments because the Ravens often turn around in the third quarter and really, really set it off. Like that's been a kind of trend for them throughout the season. It has to be something they do at halftime. I think he sees the game well. sees what's going on, and they come out and make a difference in the second half. Almost every game seems like.
Yeah, their momentum is crazy.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is. Now, the game of the weekend, the best matchup, Chiefs and the Bills. Where do you want to start with this one?
First of all, it was an awesome game.
The Bills were the favorite. It was an awesome game.
So back
in Buffalo.
Forth, and it was like, it was very, both teams had moments where they try to take control. Both teams also had moments where like you're really confused by what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, the fourth quarter, both teams had one of the dumbest moments I've ever seen. The Bills,
yeah.
The Bills giving the fake punt to DeMar Hamlin. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
I know where they were was, I don't remember where exactly they were, but it was crazy.
I thought the game
it was like the 27 or something crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, it's over. Like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It took me like 10 minutes to even compute why would you think to do that.
When it happened, I said out loud, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen." I really did. I said, "I've never seen anyone do something like that."
And let me preface,
just blow the game.
What the Chiefs do to match it is like is irony at its finest. I'm sitting there watching this after this moment, after this fake punt that was a disaster.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, you know what the Chiefs do and that Buffalo doesn't? They get it to their playmakers. You know what's not going to happen down the stretch of this game? Some random Chiefs player is going to be put in a position to blow the fucking game.
Right. And Hardman is not one of their playmakers.
What? I was shocked, bro. Why? Before you score a touchdown?
Yeah.
Dude,
if they did that on the 2-point...
was cooking.
He was playing good. If they did that on the 2-point conversion, I wouldn't have been mad, but yeah, it just wasn't. That wasn't it. That was a crazy play, trick play.
Off of a fumble.
Yeah.
And, the call I think is kind of weird. I don't really like the rule, but it's been like we've seen it cost teams games.
Yeah, cost the Vikings a game earlier this season.
Right. Derek Carr has done this and blown Vegas games.
Mm-hmm.
I think back when they were still in Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, why would you give the ball to Mecole Hardman? Kelsey's best game of the season. Rice is like looking like a good number one. Pacheco, the running back, was like feasting every time they gave him the ball. Mahomes.
Edwards-Helaire was playing good.
Scantling made plays.
Yeah. Harden was the only one that really hadn't been doing anything.
Who, again, was the guy who made a pivotal mistake earlier.
Yep.
I don't mind you go to the AFC Championship game and you give him a chance to redeem himself. But in this game, like the way this game was going, Buffalo handing you the game, and you literally ignored the lesson they handed out to you. Yeah.
I don't blame him too much for the play itself, because it was a kind of a freak thing to happen either way. I know Hardman is not the one you trust it with, but
it wasn't
what exactly happened?
A fake punt to a guy who's never played offense.
Yeah, the guy who is barely still playing football. That was the craziest play of the entire season. But let's to the second half. I mean, to the end of the game. Bills had a chance to tie it.
Yes.
And really wasn't even close of a kick.
A lot of collective selling in this drive because Diggs set the tone first play. Maybe
drop.
You could argue it wasn't wide open. It hit his hands.
Yeah.
And then Allen was just sloppy with the ball.
Towards the end, he was, yeah.
Just like honestly, if he ends that last drive and maybe they just miss a chance to win and they get a closer field goal, or maybe even that same field goal and miss it the same way, I'm not even mad at Josh because he was great a lot of this game.
Yeah, he was.
But it was how sloppy, and really it was the fourth quarter as a whole. The earlier fumble that they got lucky with almost cost them the game.
Yeah.
He was sloppy again.
Once they went down, I think his whole mentality changed. Because in the beginning, it was kind of like a cat and mouse thing. But, it kind of felt like the Bills were in more control because they had the ball so much longer than the Chiefs did. So I think he really had a nice balance between confident and safe throughout this game. There were some passes he threw that the Chiefs definitely should have intercepted. Like one hit the Chiefs player right in the chest. The other one,
I saw two that were clear cut picks that were just dropped.
Yeah, one of them was a major drop. The other one, McDuffie tipped, but had he not touched it, it would have landed right in Snead's hands. Snead was waiting for it.
Yeah.
But McDuffie tipped it, and but the rest of the game, he was pretty good. He was pretty good. Part of me thinks that the Buffalo, the coaching staff really didn't trust Josh that much in this game. Why they ran it, they ran a lot in this game, a ton, for how they normally are. It wasn't as balanced as they normally are to me. Did you notice that at all?
It was weird because they ran it well, but yeah.
It felt like they were overrunning to me. Cook had 18 carries.
Again, it's I wanted them to get to this point where they were a versatile offense.
Yeah.
But in this game, it was more to press the issue that we're versatile rather than doing what's best.
Yeah.
So I do see your point, but to me, the fact that you looked at this and saw that the coaching staff not trusting Allen, I'd fire McDermott for that. One thing that frustrates me about this game and Buffalo playing well is because it did kind of save McDermott's job.
Yeah.
The fake punt to me was him trying to double down on losing it somehow, but again, the fact that they went toe to toe and had the game, and the kicker missed the hell out of the kick, so you can't really put that on coaching,
right?
But still, the connection with Josh Allen is just not there.
It's not.
And I want a coach that's 100% bought in, for better or worse.
Yeah, I agree.
I would like to see them change coaches. To me, McDermott's going to get a job quickly. He'll probably get a head coaching job right away. There's a lot of places that I think he could help a ton. A lot of teams that need improvement defensively that he'll obviously provide.
I think he'd be a really good college coach if he wanted to. He'd be really good.
Here with Buffalo, it's gotten stale. And it just needs to be a different voice, I think. A different, leader. Maybe not even better, but just somebody different.
Yeah, I agree. And throughout this game, they played like they were the underdogs to me. Because it was kind of a level of over safety. And like you said, seemed like they were forcing the issue that they're, forcing to prove that they're versatile. So it kind of felt like they were the underdogs in this, even though they were, the favorites and at home. And the Chiefs just looked so comfortable. This whole game, the Chiefs looked comfortable. It looked like they were never worried. I don't think Mahomes is ever worried, or Kelsey. I don't think either of them are ever worried. But they never looked rattled over some of the plays. And then once the defense kind of started figuring it out in the second half and kind of, getting stops and not letting them get such long runs, it looked like easy pickings for the Chiefs at the end. Are you confident at all that if the Bills did get that field goal that they would have won the game?
No. 95% certain they would have lost.
Right. See, so that was kind of second half trended that way to me. It was like very clear, like oh, the Chiefs got this. Like either Mahomes was going to go right down to the other end and score, or overtime Mahomes was going to score easy. Like the Chiefs are going to score pretty quickly. So
like to me, this game validated that like Josh Allen is not on Mahomes' level. This isn't Brady Manning. This isn't like the epic rivalry of the like. I like the teams playing.
Yeah,
competitive. Both teams are good, but like obviously the Chiefs are in a different class, and Mahomes is in a different class as an individual quarterback.
He is absolutely. Yeah.
This was a game where like you said, the Chiefs weren't fazed at all. This was in Buffalo. The Chiefs showed the week before that they don't give a shit about the weather. I mean, it was like record lows, and dudes are out there like letting mustaches freeze over.
Yeah.
You know, guys were out there in like regular clothing, not extra layers or anything, completely fine. Miami also was completely rattled by the weather. Buffalo was completely rattled by the moment. You know who wouldn't have been rattled? And this is why I think he got so much praise right away? Joe Burrow.
At all.
And this
he would not have been rattled at all.
Everybody's so excited that Josh Allen, talent-wise, can go toe-to-toe with Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't, like, the quarterback poise in big playoff games, night and day difference.
Yeah.
Like, that was, to me, the difference is Mahomes was in control of this game.
He
Allen was trying to brute force his way through.
Yeah, and, you know, I think people who listen to this podcast probably assume I don't like Josh Allen because I do dog Josh a lot. And I really don't mean to. And I have this issue, even in basketball and all sports, that when the media really hypes somebody up, it makes me really want to dog them. It's just a condition I have. I promise I don't mean to do it for the listeners. But if anything, this game showed exactly why I'm not a fan of Josh or of the praise he gets, is because throughout this game, even I forgot who did the commentary this game. Do you remember? Was it Romo?
Yeah.
Even through this game, the narrative was still that Josh could throw this game away. Like, the people I was watching the game with even said, yeah, they look good, but Josh could easily throw this game away. Even Romo, throughout the game, it was like Josh is playing good, but I don't know, he might make a bad decision here. And to me, I can't imagine talking about a top 5 quarterback and ever getting the feeling that they could throw the game away. To me, that if you say that about a quarterback, that should immediately take them out of the top 5 conversation, in my opinion. But a lot of people will say, well, he might throw this game away, but he still has a lot of talent, so he should still be top 5. But, like, yeah, he may be a good football player, but that doesn't make you a good quarterback. That's like the only thing the quarterback should do is not throw the game away.
Exactly. Josh probably could have played other positions.
Yeah, he probably could. He's kind of like the Taysom Hill thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like you need.
He would have been a cool running back.
You have to have poise. And like to me, feed off of his inconsistency, his kind of wild highs and wild lows. Because you see it. Sometimes Diggs looks like one of the better receivers in the league. Sometimes I don't know he's out there. The same thing with the tight end group. Like, they should have one of the best tight end groups in the league. Sometimes I forget they even have tight ends.
Yeah.
They've been, like, running the ball. Sometimes it's like Josh Allen running through people.
Right.
So I wish they would commit to being a more poised team rather than trying to, like, match the Chiefs talent-wise.
But the question is it in Josh's makeup at all? Does he have it? If he doesn't have it, he might just not have it.
I don't think he has
it. Might not be anything they could do to make him more poised. I feel like The best quarterbacks is just in their DNA. I don't know if it's in Josh's.
He's too much of a he's got the Favre thing. Like he wants to make the hero play.
Yeah.
And if anything, like that's why I want a different coach. I'm not even really asking for an upgrade. I just want somebody to believe in Josh through the highs and lows.
Yeah.
Because he's too talented to give up on him as a player.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
I'd trade, I'd switch like 3 different coaches before I give up on him.
Right.
So to me, Buffalo, I know it's tough, but like again, to me, you have to look at that game glass half full. If I'm Buffalo.
Well, the only other thing is if the team gives up on him first, then you don't have a choice if you're Buffalo. Like, we've already seen some rumblings that Diggs is giving up on him a little bit. You see some of the frustration from some of the other guys in the past. Gabe Davis has had some frustrations in the past. You've seen it. Once he loses the team, you almost have to do something about it. I don't know. I mean, maybe a coach can fix that. I haven't been in a football locker room like that to know that, but
yeah. You know what? I'll give Josh credit on this because he's done a good job of not letting it become like a big problem.
Yeah.
So, like, again, I don't know Josh personally, but he's had the right approach. He's said the right things. He's behaved the right way.
Mm-hmm.
To where, like, to your point, I got to see more people really giving up on him before I look at him in that way.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, Diggs could have an issue with the coaching as much as it is Josh.
Yeah, he could. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. He keeps showing me that he's good enough. Just the poise, man. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have that Joe Burrow thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe is built different for sure. I forgot to mention when we were talking about Cowboys that Dak was catching a lot of flack from his teammates' families, which doesn't really mean that much, but I just thought it was really funny. I'm not gonna break down every Facebook post, but listeners definitely go look up what CeeDee Lamb's mom and her friends have said about him. Micah Parsons' brother. We've seen this a lot lately. Families of players getting in on the discourse about teammates. Well, we saw it with Josh Allen, right? And Diggs' brother. So, kind of strange. It's funny, though. It's funny. It is funny.
I don't really take too much away from
it. I don't know. The thing is, it creates kind of distance between the players because in the past it seems like Tom Brady was so cool with all his players. The guys would be over at the house, live with him at times. They have all these dinners together. They knew each other's families. But now, I think that's tough. If your family is talking trash about me, I don't know how good of friends we could be, or how close we can be in our normal lives. You know what I'm saying? Because of football players, after the games, they're like families are together more often than, they don't do a lot of stuff alone off the field with each other. It seems like it's more like a family kind of thing, or like big dinners or whatever like that.
The problem is social media is also really it plays a weird factor.
Yeah.
Because now criticism has gotten out of control.
It has.
Dak Prescott's brother has to respond to a ton of people telling him that his brother should leave. You know what I mean? That's insane.
Yeah.
That is so mind-blowing to me that Dak Prescott's brother said, yo, stop blowing my social media up asking for Dak to leave. How insane of a hater can you be to reach out to Dak's brother?
Yeah, it happens. It isn't the same, but yeah.
I've hated on so many NBA guys. I've never in a million years considered reaching out to like even their friends to tell them that they suck.
Yeah. Or I'm never. I mean, even reaching out to like a teammate to say something about their teammate is crazy.
That's so to me, like, that's why I don't take too much away, because these people are under this weird pressure that they shouldn't really be under.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like the Bulls booing Jerry's widow. Like, why? That is so insane.
It is insane.
Like,
it's
how
bad.
do you connect her to your franchise? You know, things that were done to your franchise that you don't like.
Right.
So to me, I think it's more of the fandom has gotten a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think that players' family members, you know, obviously they don't know how to handle that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not overreacting to it. But I hate that Dallas isn't more united in this moment. I wish I would have seen that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. I'm on the same page with you there.
Like, you saw what Jalen Hurts said about Sirianni. Like, I wanted to see. I mean, Dak did kind of have his back, and Dak really did have McCarthy's back. But again, none of the players have really had Dak's back or McCarthy's back.
Yeah.
And to your point, like, they're allowing. To me, it's not enough for Micah Parsons to say that, like, oh, my brother is his own man. What he says doesn't represent me.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Like,
yeah.
To me,
it wasn't...
have to address, like, yo, I don't think like this. Like, Dak is my teammate. I love him. Even if you don't.
Right.
So, CeeDee Lamb, same thing. Like, this to me is a chemistry breaking moment that you have to salvage.
Yeah, yep. Because what Micah said to me is just like saying, yeah, I just wouldn't say that. Like, instead of saying I disagree, it's two different things. Yeah.
And Michael Irvin made a point.
Okay.
I saw Michael Irvin made this point because there was a lot of talking about how CD and Dak were kind of weirdly, like, off from the first, like, throw to CD, and they immediately were talking it. Dak was kind of getting on him, and then McCarthy got in there. And Michael Irvin, who obviously is a Hall of Fame receiver, he's better perspective than me. He said, like, yo, I never disrespected the quarterback in any capacity. I never had a, like, beef with the quarterback on anything in regards to on the field. Yes, sir. Like, yes, sir, I'll do it. Because CD, like, Dak's got to throw you the ball.
Right.
So to me, if there's a problem, you cannot let us see that on the field.
Right. Just have the conversation like teammates.
Practice locker room. Like, come on, you got to be professional. Like, this is exactly what people laugh at with Dallas.
Yeah, it is. It is.
They're not focused. They're not focused enough.
Let's make picks. Chiefs, Ravens. Who you got?
I gotta go Baltimore. I have to. Like, no, this isn't a logical pick at all. I'm telling you now. I shouldn't doubt Mahomes because every time I've done it, I've been wrong. Except Joe Burrow. Shout out to Joe Burrow again. But every other time, I've been really fucking wrong.
Yeah.
But Baltimore is my home team.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Baltimore's been scorching hot for the last 2 months. They've been destroying teams. Lamar Jackson came in and, like, yanked the MVP out of whoever had it before him. I guess Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Maybe Dak Prescott. But he just snatched it.
Yep.
Like, Baltimore's momentum, I don't know how you don't root for it right now.
Yeah. I gotta go with the Chiefs, though. I agree with everything you said, but I can't.
I knew it.
I can't not bet against my man. I can't bet against Mahomes. I think the poise in this last game was just so elite. It was just so resounding. Like, it was just so clear. So I I think they carry that into Baltimore as well, and I think they take care of business. But Baltimore's not going to make it easy, especially how the Bills looked, like the way they ran and the way Josh was able to find holes. Lamar's going to find even more holes, and he's going to run further, and he's going to be harder to catch at times. Chiefs got to take something away. They have to take something away. That's the tough part about the Ravens. Is really not much you can take away. They're so good.
I'm going to be honest. This could be a very low scoring game because both of these defenses have like only gotten better as the year has gone on.
Yeah.
So this could be, we could be looking at like, you know, one final drive decides the game after nothing or next to nothing from either side.
Possible. Very possible.
I'm just nervous. I am nervous because, you know, Lamar hasn't been in this moment. And this is, Mahomes is what, like 6th in a row?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the experience deficit is staggering.
Yeah, but being home should alleviate that a little bit.
Yeah.
For Lamar.
Harbaugh's as veteran of a coach as there is, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should have him ready.
Lions and 49ers. Who you got? It's a tough one.
Stick with the Niners.
Yeah.
But this Packer game, man, made me really nervous.
I think I'm gonna take the Lions. I think we're gonna be opposite on these.
Tell me why.
The Lions looked good, man. I mean, they've just looked really, really good. Every time I don't think they have it, they just do something else that looks really good. And like I said, the 49ers, to me, like, the last couple weeks just haven't looked that great to me. And I just, not saying they're not great, because obviously they have super talented players, some of the most talented players in the league, probably like 4 out of the top 20 most talented players in the league on the team. But I think the Lions could put pressure on Purdy. And I think Purdy, if he makes any mistakes in this, I think he'll make less mistakes. I mean, I think he'll make more mistakes than Goff will. I think that's kind of what it's going to come down to, is which quarterback makes the most mistakes. And I think I would take Goff in that battle.
I'll tell you what, man, with the Lions, and I can't believe it's the Lions of all teams that get this credit.
Yeah.
They've been the only team that when they get an opportunity to like make a big play, it's like they never miss it.
Mm-hmm.
Big pass by Goff, no problem. Big run, no problem. One of their receivers making it like an incredible catch, no problem. Protecting Goff to buy him more time to throw a good pass, like no problem. They've done everything. Yeah.
Their downs have been fantastic. Like, I don't know what, I'm not looking at the stats, but
pressure moments.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm rocking with them on that.
I gotta be honest. I don't know who. Maybe if you saw CJ Stroud's run as like a more of a coaching thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Dan Campbell has been like, he's been cooking this year.
Yeah.
He's got them so wildly motivated. Every speech gets better. Every, like, he's on the sideline talking to damn near everybody on the fucking team.
Yeah.
Like, he came in there and he fixed the culture so quick.
He did.
It's kind of funny because a lot of people are using this moment for the Lions to further laugh at the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, to me, again, if I'm Dallas, look at the blueprint.
Yeah.
Detroit didn't trust the Belichick coaching tree that was giving them nothing. Shout out to Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
They had to pivot.
Yep.
Dallas had to pivot and didn't. And it's probably going to haunt them. And Detroit, on the other hand, is somewhere where Dallas hasn't been since I was born.
Yep. Goff has looked so comfortable in this offense. Like, the most comfortable I've ever seen him look in his career.
And when he's comfortable, he's really fucking good.
Yeah, if he has time,
He's
he's
really
gonna
quick.
find something. Yeah. Yep. Yep. And he's more creative than he gets credit for. I think because he's so dry as a guy, like you kind of forget that he's like he really knows how to play football. You know what I mean?
Good instincts, yeah.
He does. He does. All right. That's it for football. Now, to the NBA, biggest trade that happened since our last podcast. Siakam from Toronto.
Finally moved.
Yeah, Toronto finally pulling the trigger on what seems to have been an inevitable rebuild. Seems like we've been waiting for this since the Kawhi thing, since the DeRozan situation. Then the Kawhi. Then once Kawhi left, it was just like, what are they going to do now? They're kind of competitive, but they also can't beat anyone that's really good. So now it looks like the rebuild has finally started. They've had some really nice draft picks the last couple years. Scotty Barnes has turned out to be a stud. As its coach said, he's a future all-star in this league. And the Pacers had a really rough patch there for a while. Really bad rough patch. After the in-season tournament, they were pretty disgusting.
Then they had a good patch after that.
Then they did have a little short.
Very big waves for the Pacers this year.
Yeah. They did have a little short good patch, but they've lost the last three because Halliburton has been hurt.
They did lose the one game with him there to somebody you shouldn't lose to.
Yeah, true. So how does Siakam look for you so far? What do you think about the trade moving forward and so far?
I love it. It makes Indiana better at what they already do.
Yeah.
Like, to me, if anything, it should make Siakam's game easier. Because Siakam, he's a good player. He's like a all-star caliber player.
Yeah.
But the problem in Toronto for so many years is like the lineups, the spacing, and the play style has not really been to his strengths.
Yeah.
And it's always been him having to expand his game to like open up how limited they are as a team.
Mm-hmm.
The Pacers are like the opposite of that.
Yeah.
The Pacers are where Siakam should be thriving. Run and gun, up and down. Everybody gets to make plays. Everybody takes quick shots. Everybody plays with confidence. Like,
yeah,
this is exactly the team for Siakam to succeed.
Yeah, I'm gonna sound like a hater here. I agree, but it's only if they really let Siakam like really play his game. And that's the only thing I worry about with Halliburton being such a ball-dominant point guard, that Siakam, who I think is kind of at his most valuable when he's allowed to handle the ball a little bit, when he's allowed to kind of even make plays from the post area or from the short corner. He really likes the short corner. I just wonder when Halliburton's out there and he's out there, how they're going to be able to coexist. Seeing that Halliburton is very, I have the ball until someone's ready to shoot. I pass it to you. You need to shoot it. And Siakam kind of has that mid-tempo where he can play a slow game and a fast game, like whenever he wants to. I mean, whatever the trend of the game is going, Siakam can kind of adjust to the game because he is that versatile. I just wonder if he's going to be limited in this role for the Pacers, or is he going to really take the Pacers to the next level? Which to me, it's either or, but I don't think it hurts them negatively at all. I just wonder how much Siakam they're going to get every night. That's my only question. I think it's a good trade. I think it makes the Pacers very dangerous having another like real mismatch on the team.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how much of a threat Siakam's going to be every night. That's my only question. I have to see it a little more. I've watched two of these games
but I like
that he's
it.
been in.
Like I don't like it because Siakam he'll continue what you already do. Like if your defense sucks, he's going to come in and participate in that bad defense. He's not going to individually make it better.
Right.
If you don't rebound, like they're a pretty good rebounding team, so he'll contribute to that.
Yeah.
That's where it is a good pickup even for the playoffs because now you're just by default more versatile. Now you have another guy who's like an assignment guy that you have to worry about who's checking him.
Yeah.
But to your point, like to me, it doesn't actually allow. Like I don't really expect them to play differently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect the defense to get better, and that needs to get better.
Right.
I don't expect, like you were saying, Halliburton plays almost too much with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really expect them to make an adjustment to that.
Yeah, and having Siakam to stand and watch Halliburton play with the ball is just not, like, it wasn't worth 3 picks for that, if that's what they're going to do. So I am curious. I think Rick is a good coach, but...
What concerns me is we're not going to see it till the playoffs. So they're going to be fooled thinking like, we this was a fucking fire trade. We're good to go to compete. When I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I worry about that adjustment to when the game has to slow down. Siakam isn't the guy that I wanted to help them navigate that.
Right. That's how I feel too. That is pretty much how I feel too. And it was Bruce Brown and the 3 picks, 3 first-round picks, 2 next year and 1 in 2026.
I also don't trust him to re-sign. That's why I hate the trade. Like I genuinely hate it because now with the reports that like the trade was kind of stalled because Siakam wasn't committing to these teams.
Yeah.
Why would he commit to Indiana? Like, maybe he did. Maybe he did.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't trust him to, even if he said it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why. Why wouldn't he? Why do you think he wouldn't?
Well, because I don't think he wants to be tied down ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I honestly think he was just saying no because he's like, like if we're a disaster and y'all blame me, I don't want to fucking come back, and we don't know if that's gonna happen.
Right.
But like 3 first-round picks is expensive for somebody you're gonna have to convince in half a year to re-sign.
I agree, and that was a big
gamble.
That was a big part of it for me. It just even hearing 3 first-round picks, like that is a lot for Siakam, and that's like I'm planning on winning a championship right away, which I don't think Indiana does, even with Siakam.
If they're planning to win it right away, Siakam was not the guy. Like we're on the same page there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I like the confidence that we're going for it.
Yeah.
And I also love it for the Raptors who let Van Fleet go for nothing.
Yeah.
To learn their lesson and not allow that to happen again.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's for Indiana. I don't know if it's enough.
Yeah. I think I just don't know if it was the right one. Yeah. Because Siakam is really good. I like Siakam a lot. It's just, I don't know if he's the right guy for how they play.
See him play faster, like more in transition, more quicker shots, less him having to create offense.
You said you do?
I do want to see that. That's where I'm like, I'm not quite negative on the fact that Halliburton will still have the ball a lot. Because, like, I like Siakam not having the ball a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Even if he's, like, just a spacer and kind of a finisher, I think he'll be awesome doing that.
Mm-hmm. I got you. Okay. Moving on. You want to go the trade or the coaching decision?
Let's go coaching decision first.
Okay. Milwaukee Bucks have fired Adrian Griffin after 43 games as head coach.
What's their record, by the way?
Is it?
No, what was their record? Like, what
is 30 and 13.
Man, it's a lot of wins to fire somebody.
70%. And pretty quickly they hired Doc Rivers. Same day?
No way. Please tell me they're still in talks.
No, they hired him. he already agreed to it.
Dude, if you've been listening to the podcast this NBA season, like I didn't call this, but I saw the writing on the wall as far as them not looking right.
We knew Doc Rivers was going to be coaching before the season was over. I don't know if we knew it was going to be Milwaukee.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we mentioned it multiple times.
No, but I didn't expect it. It could have happened, but
okay.
Now that we were getting pretty deep into this season, we're like halfway at this point. Like, I just didn't see any team assuming they're going to upgrade getting Doc Rivers.
Oh, I did.
I was so wrong.
I definitely did.
I was so wrong. And it infuriates me how wrong I was.
I thought there was like at least 6 teams in the East, at least 5 teams in the East that I thought Doc was going to be coaching before the season was over.
But the other team, Milwaukee wasn't one of them.
Dude, we talked about Griffin being fired before the season was over. Multiple times.
I just think...
But I don't say I didn't think it was going to be Doc. I will say I didn't think Doc was going to be the Bucks. But I didn't think Griffin was going to make it this season. I think I sent it to you maybe 2 weeks ago. I was like, can Griffin be fired like before the season's over? Before All-Star break?
First of all, their problems weren't... He was bad, but I thought it would take a bad playoff run for them to really realize how they probably downgraded.
Not me. You know what it is? It depends who you're talking about. Because I think the team has known for at least 10 games that Griffin was not it. Like the players, they've known. They know.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, a lot of the games they win, the ones that I've watched, they've won purely on talent. They won because they have 2 of the best top 75 players to ever play basketball. Not because their team is constructed better or because they were playing better in that game. Because a lot of the games they lose to like good coaches beat them. Like they lose to the Pacers often because Rick Carlisle is a better coach. They lost to Houston because Udoka just get coached around. But they could beat teams because they're just, 2 of the most gifted players to ever put on sneakers.
It's just I can't react to this because there's 2 completely different sides. Obviously I love the fact that I hate to say it like that, but he should have been fired. To your point, he was horrible.
Yeah.
He looked horrible. He didn't know what was going on. The defense was getting worse and worse. The players stopped listening to him. Their offensive structure was getting worse. No individual player was getting better. Goddamn, I just listed 7 things off the top of my head.
And they only put together maybe 5 games where Damian and Giannis both looked good.
Maybe. 5, I think, might be a little generous, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I don't really count, whooping the bottom feeders when you put up 150.
Right.
As far as actual competitive games, maybe 5.
Yeah.
But the thing to me, again, the correct decision was made. He had to go. In this The Lakers look even worse now because he wasn't doing a shittier job than Darvin Ham. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like, if
that was one of the possibilities.
Sweating reading this shit.
That was one of the possibilities we mentioned. Darvin being gone, and
yeah. But Darvin is more blatant because he's like pointing out how bad he is every night.
Yeah.
Like Griffin was trying to hide how bad he was every night.
And the thing is, it was easier because the Bucks guys they're just more dominant, and the play style isn't that hard. Like, it's not that hard to catch on, hey, Giannis, you drive and kick, and we have guys that hit threes. Like, anyone could go in and coach and them still be doing that and them still win games like that because it's just that hard to stop Giannis. It's just Damian is just that good of a shooter. All those guys are just that good. So I think it was easy for him to go in and pick up where Budenholzer left off because in certain ways, but winning games just wasn't it. What do you think about Doc as a hire?
That's what kills me. That's why I love the fucking initial move of we don't look right. It doesn't matter that we're winning games. We just don't look right. We look like we're getting worse. The acquisition hasn't really paid dividends besides him just individually being great.
Mm-hmm.
But why would you immediately think Doc Rivers is the answer?
Why did Adrian Griffin have a multi-year contract for $4 million a year?
Because Giannis went to bat for him.
No,
Giannis
I don't
was crucial
believe it.
in him getting hired. You didn't know that? I swear I saw this. Giannis was like a key part of the push for them hiring him.
That is
an L.
That's so trash.
L, yes.
Yeah.
But again, Tyler, is this not the exact type of team Doc would blow a series lead with?
Well, the thing is, they could blow a series lead with or without Doc, no matter who's coaching them.
But with Doc, they're more likely to do so.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Maybe. This is the most talented... I would say this is the most talented team he's ever had, other than the Celtics. Since the Celtics.
So? Their talent is not so overwhelming that they're walking through the conference with bad coaching.
So you think Doc Rivers is a bad coach?
Doc Rivers is an inferior coach to everyone they'll need to outcoach. Including shitty Joe Mazzulla.
No, let's not get
He's more
crazy.
self-aware about his roster than Doc Rivers was with his multiple years in Philadelphia. Than Doc Rivers was in his multiple years with the Clippers.
I don't know, man. I think you're hating a little bit right now.
That's fine. Listen, I am hating full-blown. Let's fantasize about the playoff potential. With Adrian Griffin, they walked to the playoffs with 60 wins, thinking they're the shit, right? Number one seed. Oh my God, we're a vicious duo. And then they get cooked probably sooner rather than later because Griffin doesn't know shit. He won't make an adjustment. He won't make the defense better. He won't have a good relationship with a player to be able to correct something or adjust something.
Yeah.
Versus Doc. Doc is the more ignorant version of this because Doc chooses to not do any of these things. Doc chooses to pretend things are okay when they're not.
Okay. You made the argument against Doc. I will make the argument for Doc, just to be fair. I think his biggest issue in the past has been his locker room, handling the locker room. But this team, I think he has the most leaders he's had. He has Bobby Portis, who's an enforcer in the locker room. Giannis is a very good leader for the team. And Damian, who's been a leader for Scrubs for a long time. Very experienced team he has now. Everyone on this team has, I think, at this point, like Damian is the only one who hasn't been in the finals on this team, other than like the young guys. I mean, even Campaign's been in the finals. So like, I just think the pedigree in this team is going to be a lot easier for Doc. I do. I think when Doc is coaching a bunch of guys who don't know how to win, he doesn't help. But I think when he's coaching some winners like the Bucks have been, and the team has, I think he's going to do a good job, man. I think he's going to get them a lot more shots. I think he's going to get guys. I think he might get Middleton back on track. I've seen him do that before, guys like that. I like it. I like the hire. I do. I got to say it. I like it. I'm not saying Doc was the best choice, but as far as someone who's ready to do it and like, someone who's ready to get on the job, sometimes the when can you start thing, I think if Doc is probably the best I could start tomorrow kind of guy they could have gotten, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think D'Antoni would have been ready to come back. I don't think Mark Jackson would have been ready to come back. Or I don't think Atkinson would have been ready. I'm trying to think of the other guys who like are good enough to coach a championship team. Am I missing someone?
I guess Vogel.
Vogel's coaching.
Well, yeah, he's back now, but
I mean, guys available right now. Atkinson's an assistant coach. I mean, guys who don't have a head coaching job that would be ready to come back and coach.
My thing is, I think they initially made a mistake hiring a guy with no previous head coaching experience.
Exactly, and that's the thing. That's why I'm saying Doc. He could start right away. He has the most experience of like I said, other than maybe D'Antoni, and he's ready to go. I'd like to see what the contract is. They haven't. I don't think they've released that yet.
I can't ignore Doc's track record the last 10 years. You're minimizing his playoff failures.
I'm not minimizing it. He's had major playoff failures.
Playoff failure. He sat there acting like Adrian Griffin. Did he not?
Yeah, he did.
To me, like they addressed what the biggest problem was, the coaching experience.
Yeah.
But it's, again, I can't shut my eyes to what I've seen from Doc. Doc has willingly, by choice, ignored his own team's strengths. He's ignored like things that would make his own teams better in the long run. He's ignored that.
He has at times.
They're 30 and 12 or 30 and 13 win team. They're gonna win 60 games.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do differently with Doc Rivers?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
React to losses better? Like, what's gonna happen differently?
I don't know, man. I think you're minimizing his experience. I think he knows. I think he may have a plan. I think the defense might be better. I think that Dame and Giannis are going to play better together. I think that we'll finally see like multiple games where they get 20, 25 each, 30 each. I think we'll see that a lot more often now. I think Doc's been wanting to coach Dame for a long time. A long time. The thing is, this is the first time in Doc's career that he doesn't have a bunch of terrible teammates on the same team. In his career, Boston, the teammates were terrible.
You're right.
They toughed it out for 2 years, but after that, it was all destruction in the locker room.
Listen,
Harden is one of the worst teammates. Harden and Ben Simmons are two of the worst teammates we've ever seen. In our lifetimes, Ben Simmons and Harden are top 5 worst teammates we've ever seen.
You're right about the fact that this will be the first time he doesn't have to worry about chemistry. But to me, I don't look at the chemistry as being the main reason for their playoff failures. or his playoff failures. With his extensive experience, he has the biggest track record of not doing shit.
Yeah, I mean,
in a series, that to me is what pisses me off. Like, I know Adrian Griffin, if they go against Philly and Embiid is eating them alive, Adrian Griffin would stand there and watch it.
Yeah.
And they got the one guy who's really experienced and would do the same thing.
See, I don't know about that. I don't know. I just think this Bucks team will listen to him more than those other teams. I think that he'll have more confidence in his coaching and in the players. I just think it's a better connection. I really don't think any of those teams have been very easy to coach. Not saying that it should be, not saying it has to be easy, but I think he's been in really bad situations.
That's fair. Like, obviously, Dame as a leader versus Harden as a leader,
yeah,
you're upgrading like an astronomical amount of levels in leadership.
Yeah.
Giannis as a leader versus Embiid as a leader, you're upgrading like a very similar giant gap in leadership.
Yeah.
But to me, again, I haven't forgotten the clapping your hands while your team plays like shit.
Yeah.
Like, that is forever burned into my memory.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
Kenny Atkinson would not stand there and clap his fucking hands when his team plays like shit.
Right. No, he wouldn't. Definitely not.
I wouldn't consider Kenny Atkinson necessarily a better coach than Doc. But this team, this team needed a creative coach. Like, they needed a creative coach with experience. And they picked the most boring fucking experienced coach I could fucking think of.
I got you.
Only other experienced coach, I mean, this coach sucks and doesn't have any kind of track record of real winning, is Scott Brooks. But it's like, I mean, Scott Brooks has no titles. Doc has one.
Right.
It ain't again, like this notion that Doc as a coach is a winner is not true. It's just not.
He's not as big of a winner as he should be, based on how much he's coached, for sure.
Not even close. Yeah. That's the part that frustrates me. It ain't like, he missed a couple maybes. Like, no, you blew so many winnable chances. And I hate that. Like, now I have to worry that, like, they could get outcoached against Joe Mazzulla. The margin for error against a team that, again, I'm a little higher on Boston, but that's obviously their main competition. Yeah. Their most proven competition.
Yeah.
Like, Mazzulla is very self-aware.
Right.
Like, that's one thing I missed with Doc with Philly. That's why Nurse immediately looks so much better.
Yeah, he does.
Again,
but again, he also has a much different team.
Right.
Much different.
Right. I am a hater. I can't forget the many years of failures of him doing nothing. I begged for 3 years for him to manage Embiid's minutes better. 3 years. And he never even tried.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what he does. We'll see what he does with this team. We'll see. I guess he starts tonight. You think he starts tonight?
I doubt it. They'll probably
probably next game.
A couple practices.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say as a positive, it makes me want to watch the Bucks more.
Yeah, me too.
Because again, with Griffin, like I knew what they were. I didn't really see much improvement from them. I thought they were going to go to the playoffs and just, bank on their talent and probably go far with that.
Yeah.
But like one thing, Doc will do some things that they need to try to adjust.
Right.
So I do want, and even in the regular season, which I am curious to see, because he could prove me wrong. If he comes in here and he is trying to be creative, they're trying to run different defenses more. They're mixing up substitutions differently. Like I'll be excited for that.
Yeah.
But it's standing there doing nothing. That's what'll bother me.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm excited to see it too. So, last big thing that happened yesterday. Terry Rozier traded to the Miami Heat. I'm a huge Terry Rozier fan. I think our longtime listeners know that from. I mean, I think we started the podcast that Celtics year, that first Celtics year with them. This is huge. I think it's a lot bigger than the media even knows. It's such a big upgrade from Kyle Lowry, who's, pretty much washed. Maybe has a year left. Terry Rozier is only 29. He's been their best player for Charlotte this year. And he comes in with the same kind of grit, same mentality. He attacks. He plays tough defense. He doesn't like to get outplayed, which is one thing that all the Miami Heat players, the Miami Heat culture has. They hate getting outplayed. They rarely get outplayed. So I think that's going to be a perfect match. If you were looking around the league, say who really could be good with the Heat, it would be Terry Rozier, a baller.
Terry, he joins a team that's full of guys who have like very similar character to him on the court.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, like they're just very competitive, very aggressive. Culture-wise, it's obviously a perfect fit. But you know what I hate about Miami, and this really, I hate this about Miami, because you're so right. Like this. For anybody who's watched Terry Rozier and watched Miami, this is a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
But Miami has such a definitive switch, a turn it on switch, that he could have very little impact or he could have a massive impact. And it has no significant emphasis on their outcome, like how they finish the year.
Yeah, you're right.
To me, Philly was another perfect spot for him. Maybe he wouldn't have started, but he would have been a vicious sixth man for them.
Yeah, depends on what they would have had to give up, but yeah.
But for Philly, I know if they give up a decent amount, they're gonna need him. Right? He's not coming in, and it doesn't matter, whatever. For Miami, and I hate this, they have the luxury of saying it's whatever.
Yeah. Because
they have the rookie is already great. Of course, they found the great rookie later in the fucking round.
They always do.
Right. They've already proven many years that they don't need Jimmy Butler to win games.
Right.
I keep expecting Bam to take the next step. He hasn't. That hasn't stopped them from winning games.
Right.
Somehow Duncan Robinson has revived his rotation role, and he looks actually good.
Tyler Hero really hasn't been consistent, has never been consistent, and that hasn't stopped him.
That's what I hate about Miami.
Yeah. The thing is, they're so balanced all the time, and not balanced necessarily in stats, but balanced in impact. Everyone has the same amount of impact in winning the games. So I think that Terry Rozier, obviously, he's really a low impact guy anyway. He doesn't really hurt you. He's either going to get buckets and give up some buckets, or he's gonna outscore his matchup, or he just, like you said, he just may not do anything for them.
But that's so. Would you start him or bring him off the bench?
For this team, I think I would start him because I don't really know who else they start at point. Hero starts at point.
See, I don't really like him as a starter. Because the deeper they go in the playoffs, they're going to need him to be more consistent.
Well, the thing is, for me, either him or Hero, is Rozier or Hero starts. I wouldn't start them both. I think Hero, 6-man Hero, I like him off the bench as a 6-man. I always say he gave me Kevin Martin vibes off the bench. But if you're gonna start Hero, I also think that Terry Rozier off the bench is better because he plays better when. To me, he plays better when he can have the ball a lot. He's out there with the scrubs, and it's just him attacking, finding guys. He's better like that. Him playing the team basketball at the beginning of the games might not be it for them. Might not work for them.
That's where I think I'd bring him off the bench. And when I initially saw the trade, I was like, oh, he's starting, like, easily. But the more I'm thinking about it, again, if he's a starter, you're asking him to kind of, like, be more than what he's been as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Off the bench, though, he could really, like, he can maintain his aggression, I think, much better.
If he comes off the bench, he'll be 6th man of the year next year.
Right.
Like, I really think he's that good.
Individual peak on this team is coming off the bench.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah. I think he could help them starting if Hero comes off the bench. But, yeah, I do think for Rozier himself, for him to play his best, it probably will be off the bench.
They already, like hypothetically, you could say maybe if Hero goes down, Rozier fills his spot. They just did that last year. Like, they really didn't have a individual player to replace Hero. And then a number of guys stepped up. Obviously, Martin was huge, but other guys stepped up as well. Yeah. So, again, Miami, like, I'm so confident that Miami will be in the second round. Like, I'm not even really excited to see him on Miami until they get to that point.
Yeah, and Martin also just got back. Like, he just got healthy, so he's back to it. I think they may go into the. It depends who they're playing.
Always hurt, even when they're healthy.
Yeah. I think they may switch it up at times. Switch up the starters based on who they play. I think they can do that as well because they have a lot of length. Love is still there. Jaquez kind of plays every position for them. They got a lot of versatile guys. Josh Richardson is another guy who can play like 1 through 3, and it really doesn't hurt you. Obviously, Jimmy could play everything 1 through 5. Basically, whatever you need, Jimmy can do it. So they have a lot of flexibility.
Has looked a lot better. I haven't seen much from them, but Duncan in the stuff I have seen looks like he belongs on the court a lot more.
Yeah, like he's cutting well again.
He's moving more, not just to hunt threes. He's working even harder on defense, like really trying to maintain his spot on the court.
Yeah.
And I respect it. Like I of course Miami's got him playing better, but I have no doubt that Rozier will fit.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's it for us today. I don't really have anything else special to talk about, or really anything small to talk about. I think that's it for now. This is going to be a big weekend in sports. Big weekend coming up. Big week for basketball.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be exciting. As usual, thank you for listening. Subscribe, follow us, and we'll see you guys next week.